Jen Groban. I'm so excited to have you on the podcast, Fitness Franchise Business Secrets, and I'm sure you've listened to a couple episodes. So Forrest and I have a little different flavor in how we have podcasts. He's so good at asking the right questions, and I'm just going to hang out with you because you're my friend.
Sounds good.
For those of y'all who don't know, this is actually one of my best friends in the entire world, and we work together. We should actually do an entire episode on that, like how to be friends and work together.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think that's a unique thing that I don't think everybody should try, but we've pulled it off really well.
Correct.
So actually, we're going to have a couple episodes. We'll do that one. We'll do Jen's been here for over 10 years. She is a complete badass, and we love having her on the team. But we're just going to chat a little bit because she's got a lot of strengths that I think everyone should know about, and we're going to give some tips to you guys. So stick around to the end so that you make sure you hear those tips on how to be your best at systems, accountability, and leadership. So Jen, first of all, you, like I mentioned, we'll do a whole episode on your time here and multiple people who've been here for so long. But just tell me in general, you've been here for 10 years. You originally wanted to work for Iron Tribe, and now 10 years later, you still want to work for Iron Tribe. So tell me a little bit about that journey, why Iron Tribe is important to you, and why you want to keep helping it grow.
Yeah, so 10 years ago, when I was hired this month, will be
Isn't
my
that
10-year anniversary. Yeah, started out as a part-time co-coach. I've been in fitness for a long time, so had years of fitness under my belt, and didn't really know where it was going at the time, but you know, through the years have just grown through the company, which I think is amazing that this company provides opportunity. And so went from part-time coaching to full-time coaching, and then when my husband and I wanted to start a family, it was time for me to stop waking up at 4 a.m. for that early morning shift. And it was a very easy transition over into management, administration, sales, all of that. And I coached for about 5 years, and I've been on the
long? Oh, wow.
4.5 years,
Yeah.
yes. And then came over to the management side, so been on the management side a little bit longer than the coaching side. But yeah, I mean, I just love this company. I love working here. And I think through the years, what's really kind of kept me going is obviously the vision, mission, and purpose of this company, which I align with completely, but also the leadership from you and Forrest, just always having my back and wanting me to grow and seeing me through all of the changes and the growth. So that's really helped over the years, you know, to keep me on board. And also our team, the people we work with. It would be hard to not be around this group. So that's also contributed to that as well.
It's funny. I forgot. I don't know if I ever even told you this. When we first started doing EOS and implementing all of the new systems, myself, Forrest, and Kyle sat around a table and we did the get it, want it, have capacity to do it. If y'all haven't read Retraction, anything EOS, to understand what that means. But we ranked ourselves and then we ranked the team. You ranked above even ourselves.
What?
Like, yes! When we came down to like our core values and then the get it, want it, and have capacity, you were like, I ranked Forrest and Kyle, and you even ranked above all of us.
Yeah,
you
I did
were
not know
our
that.
avatar of a team player.
Wow.
So now everybody knows that. But it was like, oh, wow, okay, well, we should just have Jen run the company.
That's good. That's okay. You do a good job. I'm good where I am.
You align perfectly with all of our core values. You live it out. You're cut from the cloth of everything that we are. So anyhow, it makes sense that you are in the position that you're in. So a little bit more on Jen. Right now she is running the #1 gym in the brand, which is exciting and scary. It's hard to be on top, right?
It is. It's challenging, but it's worth it.
Yep. So talk a little bit about that, though.
Yeah, that's one of the biggest things when we kind of recapped last year, what we learned the most and what we were taking into this year. That was my biggest thing was, you know, being #1 and on the top with the Birmingham gyms, our corporate gyms, but also the franchise gyms as well. Is not an easy task. And I tell the team, I reiterate to them that nothing is handed to us. It's all been hard work and intentionality. And a lot of times when people get to the top is when they quit. And so we just refuse to do that. So we're just continuing to put in the hard work to maintain that #1 spot.
It's so fun because I remember you going into this gym, our Mountain Brook gym that you're in now, and you were terrified.
I was.
Not necessarily, like, you believe in yourself, which I think is amazing, and I love seeing your confidence. You also lean into the Lord and you pray and you really believe that He's the one that shows up for you every day, even though you put in the work. But to contrast, I had coffee with one of your coaches last week or the week before, I'm not sure. And I just had this like moment where I was thinking back to, you're going into the gym, you're terrified they won't trust you. And that's important in the environment that we're in, right? And then to hear this conversation with one of your coaches who was almost in tears, and I know that another one of your coaches has been in tears, and it was just, he was like, Jen's the best. We couldn't have done this without her. Like, she hustles and grinds, but at the same time, I know you're fairly balanced. And so to hear, I mean, you're with your family, you're very present, and I'm one that's anti-balance, and you're one that's pro-balance, and we work through that. But anyhow, how has that played out as in a leadership role, from terrified going into this gym, wanting them to respect you because you want them to win, and then now you've got tears being shed over your leadership? How does that hit you?
Yeah, so number one, like you said, leaning into the Lord is number one for me in business. And so walking into the Mountain Brook gym, it was a gym, it still is, of several coaches who have been here for a long time. Yes. When we had a coach running the gym, it was more, she did a great job, but it was at the time, with our model at that time, it was more task-oriented. Yep. It was more having her involved with the members, all of that, but not so much with the team. They were more workout buddies, having a fun time. Yep. And so when I came in, Frank, by the way, is one of my best friends, and your best friends outside the gym. And so when I came into, and I'd worked with Callaway before, so when I came into this environment, I thought, well, yay, I get to work with my best friends, and it's going to be great, and we're all going to get along, and it's going to be awesome. And that was not my experience when I first walked in.
We got goals to hit.
Yes. And so when I came in, I think after our first team meeting when I started, and I'm a systems follower, which you guys will understand soon, but I follow the systems just because I trust them and I know they're going to work, and we got to see them through. But I came in and said, okay, we're going to do this, 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 and this. And rather than expecting them to rally around that, yeah, Jen, we can't wait to do this, it was more like, oh, who is she? And I felt that tension right away, which was surprising to me because Frank is such a good friend and because I had worked with Callaway. So no fault to them. They didn't know what this was about. Yeah. And so I really had to, on that first meeting, I was kind of devastated. And I came home and I was talking to my husband and I said, this is so surprising to me. This is not what I expected. I feel like they hate me already, And so I really leaned into the Lord and realized that they don't trust me yet. Yes. And so Frank trusts me as a friend, but as a leader, I'd never been his leader.
When you're changing up their life.
I am, yeah. We were coming in and we were like, we were launching our new program. Yep. We had a lot to do and accomplish. And
nothing was proven yet.
Correct. And we had to build the gym back up, restructure everything. And I had that belief on the back end because I had worked on the back end of changing the program and launching our new program. And so I came into the next team meeting, and I guess they were ready for me to pull out my clipboard and our to-do list and get right back to it. And I said, guys, just put everything away. We have to have a heart-to-heart right now.
Jen, you're so good.
And I was terrified. I was so scared, but I just knew that I had to say what I had to say. We couldn't start this with tension. We couldn't start it with them not trusting me. And so I said, I want to let you guys know I'm kind of bummed out because I expected this to happen, and this is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling this tension. And what I've realized is that you don't trust me yet. And that's okay. I realize now that I have to earn your trust, which I will do. But just know that's where we're at right now, is that I understand you guys don't trust me. One day you will, and I'm going to work really hard to make that happen. In the meantime, we have to do X, Y, and Z. No matter what you feel about it, we're doing X, Y, and Z. But again, I'm going to earn your trust one day, and you'll understand why this is happening. And so I just started doing that. I just was consistent with them. I was friendly and firm.
Friendly and firm. I love that.
I was, but that's
I'm going to steal that.
That's for my husband.
Oh, I'm stealing that.
He says firm, friendly, and fair.
I love that.
Is qualities of a leader. And I mean, it was maybe 2 months of an adjustment. And then after that, I just saw the team starting to evolve and I saw them starting to trust me. And I think when I talked to Frank and Callaway about it now, what they said caused them to shift their trust was she actually did what she said she was going to do.
Oh, that's good. That's
and so having that integrity and actually doing that and following systems along the way and keeping them accountable to those systems. So that was my experience walking into Mountain Brook, and now, you know, we've grown so much. We're number one in the brand, on track to be $1 million gym this year. And the team is thriving. The gym is thriving. Of course, it's not perfect, but without the team, none of this would be possible. And I always bring it back to the team. You know, without them, none of this would have happened. But we had to have that hard conversation right from the get-go, and I had to earn their trust.
So you mentioned systems a ton in that, and I think that's super important because, I mean, it's kind of how the only way that we can scale as a franchise business. Tons of one-off gyms can get away without systems, right? But they could never get out of the business. You just went on, a full week and a half vacation to Italy.
I did.
And you came back and your gym was not burned down.
Correct. They even hit goal while I was gone.
See? So speak about, I know we haven't always been the perfect company, and we'll do a whole podcast episode on that, but in the last 4 years, I feel you can speak to it, refined some things, but talk about the systems and the importance of those for you as a human, as an employee, and as a leader.
So systems for me are easy to follow because I'm a rule follower.
Yes, you are.
But I know that a lot of people are not like that. They want to question everything. They're maybe not right on board with what we're doing. And what I've seen over the years and what I love about what you do is that you're always open to feedback. Like, we're going to do this, but I want to know how it goes, how you're feeling about it, and what went well, what didn't. And so over the years, I feel like we've just been able to really transform and solidify our systems to be very simple and easy to follow. And for me, I'm all in on that, because if you can give me a system that's teachable, the expectations are very reasonable, it keeps us all organized, on task, moving in the same direction, then I'm all on board with that. And then me as a leader, I'm responsible for teaching the team, giving them the why behind what we're doing, getting the belief in that, and then holding them accountable to it. And so little things like a daily checklist, a weekly checklist. Why is that important? Well, we're all doing it. It's maybe 10 things to check off, things you're already doing, but it helps to hold us all accountable. So I do the checklist as well. The coaches do it, and the expectation is that at the end of the week, they hand it to me. And that's been going on for 3 years now, 2 years now. So over the course of the company, I've just seen us refine and simplify to make these systems so easy to follow, and it just keeps the business running. It's something you don't have to think about as much. It just keeps the business running behind the scenes. And so I'm all about the systems that we've come up with, tested, pressure checked, and I think we're in a really good spot.
So with systems, I've seen, and we've done it, gosh, I think one of our biggest downfalls was implementing something and then lack of follow-up or follow-through. Or, I mean, unfortunately, and this sounds bad, thinking, oh, they're an adult, they should do their job. So like handing a system and walking away. And one thing that I noticed even early on, I mean, your leadership's always been top-notch, but early on at Mountain Brook specifically, you would set a goal or implement a task, and you followed up, even to the point of, I remember you telling a story where you set Callaway a goal, I think it was for products, and he didn't hit it by Friday, and you're like, well, then you're going to work on it on Saturday. And it wasn't anything, it was just you're making certain that what we say we do, we're going to do, and we're going to do it together, not just like, you failed. You don't ever point the finger. So tell me about, we all know accountability is important, right? But speak to, I don't know. I don't even want to guide you in this question. Just
accountability.
Accountability.
Well, one of the things that you taught me is that accountability is not a negative thing. It's a positive thing. And I think that when people hear the word accountability, or they feel like they're being nagged, which can happen as a manager, that's the difference between a manager and a leader, right? You know, they can have some resistance to that. And so, to me, in my mind, I think, you know, by me reminding them kindly of things to do, first of all, setting the expectation, having that be clear. I want you to sell 10 bags of protein by Friday. Something very simple. Now it's my job to support that coach in that. So by Tuesday, hey, how many bags did you sell yesterday? Wednesday, how many bags? Where are we at? Thursday, oh my gosh, one more bag. You got this. Friday, Callaway hit his goal. This is amazing. Everybody's going to celebrate and be super excited. And so to me, in my mind, in the past, maybe I considered myself nagging a little bit. And then I had to change my mindset to, I'm actually helping him. I'm reminding him. I'm not being annoying. He and I came up with this goal. He was on board with it. And so now it's my job to support him in that. So I see it more as support versus that I'm annoying or nagging. So I think that that's really helped us. And sometimes you have to explain that to your team. Hey, I know I'm going to follow up with you a lot this week, but we got to get it done. And I'm not trying to be annoying. I'm just making sure you're good. Are we good with that? So keeping that communication open of like, hey, I'm not trying to bother you, but we've got a task to accomplish.
Well, and they're busy. So
exactly. And me too. I mean, one of the things that I really utilize is my calendar. I set myself reminders. I use Post-its. I try not to use too many because it's not very attractive to walk into a office with, Post-its everywhere. But, I forget stuff too. Sometimes, and a lot of times, I ask them to hold me accountable to stuff.
That's good.
I'll say, hey, Jana, I need to do this by Friday. Can you please remind me? And, if she doesn't, then it's, hey, Jana, you didn't remind me by Friday, But it gives them that teaching moment to me. We've even set up accountability groups within each other so that they feel comfortable with peer accountability.
Ooh, talk about that.
So this is what we've done on the back end of things with our corporate staff, but we came up with these little accountability groups, and I saw in those accountability groups, again, support. I didn't find anybody to be annoyed. I didn't find anybody to not like the communication to the level we were having it. And so I came back to the team after our quarterly meeting where I sit down with them for about an hour at a time at a coffee shop, just go through the previous quarter, what's ahead, and just life in general. And one of my last questions to them is, where do you think we can improve as a team, as a company, me as a leader? And they feel very comfortable to be
so good.
Honest with me because, again, we've built that trust. Yep. And we practice that honest communication all the time. And so they came up with three different things from three different coaches. And so I came back and I said, hey, guys, we're going to try these accountability groups. And you're going to own, Jana, you're going to own this. Frank, you're going to own this. Callaway, you're going to own this. And we're going to check in every week. And this is your job. This is your group. And so they've done a really good job with it, and we've accomplished little things like cleaning. That was one thing that was bothering one of them, and I'm like, hey, we can change that. We can. And so now they're holding me accountable to cleaning the bathrooms. That's
so funny.
So it's good for them. So
it's like one person is responsible. They don't have to do the job, but they have to make sure it's
correct.
Done.
It's all done.
Okay.
And they had to come up with a checklist. They had to explain it to the team. And so that gives them ownership in the problem that they told me needed to be improved. So they've really liked that exercise that we've done over the last quarter.
And you're going to change that
the bathrooms.
Quarterly?
Yes, and I will tell you the bathrooms are much cleaner because Callaway is holding me accountable to cleaning them.
Oh my goodness.
So because stuff like that, again, I'll forget if I'm not held accountable. So yeah, we're doing it all together.
Oh, that's so great. So you're multiplying leaders, literally.
Hope so.
It sounds like it. So with that, you've given examples of accountability and leadership in general, and actually pretty specific. But if you were running a gym right now, and maybe you don't have the systems that we have in place, and you were just to give somebody advice, like what's something practical that right now somebody, in any business, maybe even, I don't think our business is unique except maybe people-wise, we have to have a little bit of a different culture. However, the business of the business is we have systems. Let's say somebody doesn't have a ton of systems in place right now. What's just something they can put in place to help with accountability and leadership?
Yeah, so two things that come to mind for me that are super simple, and we practice this with newer managers, is first of all setting up your calendar, making sure that if you use Google Calendar, whatever calendar you use, making sure that it represents what's happening during the week. Blocking off time to do certain things and having your calendar tell you what you're doing all throughout the day and all throughout the week, including reminders to things. So it could be a big reminder of, hey, t-shirt orders are due on Friday, or it could be send Callaway a text for his birthday, or a text because he's running in an ultra marathon this weekend or whatever. That really helps me. If I have to remind them constantly about things, we use our text message thread between us a lot. That works really well, and that's a constant communication all throughout the day. And then I think the basic checklists that we have are very helpful, and I think any business could come up with that. Setting a daily checklist of maybe admin things that need to do or personal development or whatever needs to be done throughout the day. Maybe narrow it down to 10 to 15 things, and then have that somewhere where it's visible, where they can see it and you can see it every day, and start marking off that checklist and have the expectation, make it clear why you're doing it, explain to the team, and then the leader needs to do it as well, so that you're the example. You're the one that's showing them, leading them through the process. And so I think that those 3 things could be really helpful. It's just increasing communication, whether that's, I think text message or Slack or something like that is very helpful. Getting your calendar set up and reminding yourself of little things and big things, and then creating a daily and weekly checklist that you can follow very easily during the week and have that expectation set up for them.
Would you say, and I'm just throwing this out there, one of your secrets to success, because I hear you say it, is it's hard to hold someone else accountable if you can't hold yourself accountable?
Agreed. Yes.
And I'm not trying to throw that on you.
No.
I know it's kind of obvious, but is it really? Because I think some people, entrepreneurs or business owners or whatever, they can get away with maybe not as many systems, but they can't replace themselves if they don't know that the system that they were using works.
And if they didn't hold themselves accountable to it.
If you're not holding yourself accountable to the system, you can't even give me feedback. And then we can't...
I might not even know what's going on. I might not even know what's on their checklist.
That's true. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so important. I think that in everything in leadership, you've got to lead by example, obviously. And so even the simple things like that, do I necessarily need to check off my checklist every day? No. But do I know that it helps one of my coaches to stay organized? Yes. So I'm going to do it every week.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that that's super important.
Final thing, unless you have anything else you want to talk about, is in this role that you're in, you are literally able to help change lives. What about that keeps you getting up every day?
Again, I'm going to bring it back to the team. Our members are incredibly important, and we love our members so much. But to me, it's the team. Everything in my leadership rises and falls with them, making sure they're well taken care of, making sure that they're winning and succeeding. If that doesn't happen, I feel like I'm not doing my job. I feel extremely guilty and horrible about that. And so I always say to myself, if I don't do this, the guilt of letting my team down is so much worse than trying as hard as I can to get them to where they're winning. So that's really what gets me up every day, is really working hard for them, making sure that they succeed. Because, I love them so much. And at this point, again, it is such a blessing, because Frank is another example of a really close friend that can be my friend, and our kids can grow up together. But he's also, I'm his leader.
Yes.
So that's
but
really...
But you know that his job affects the food he puts on his kids' table.
His life at home. Yeah, absolutely. And so that means so much to me. And if they're well taken care of, then they're going to take care of our members.
1,000%.
So it kind of goes down the chain. So to me, that's number one, is making sure the team is taken care of. They feel loved. They feel like they're winning. They're reaching their goals. I'm supporting them. And then from there, it trickles down into the members. It trickles down into other staff members. And then back to me. It's life-giving to me as well when they're winning. So,
well, when you get to be the example, because you lead our team, also our management team, and you get to be the example in prayer, the example in systems, the example in accountability, and all of this hard work that you're putting in is also paying off in the numbers. I know we kicked off when we focus on the numbers, but that's like the measuring stick for if everything's working, culture, clients are being taken care of, staff is being taken care of, the measuring stick is the revenue at that point. Not necessarily the purpose.
Correct.
But it does give that measurement.
I agree.
Yeah. All right, Jen. Any final words, or just go crush it?
Go crush it. Year's almost over.
Yes. Oh, we'll be celebrating you at the end of the
I
year.
hope so. I believe so. I know so.
I know so. You're going to crush it. So, well, thanks for being on.
Thank you for having me.
I'm going to have you on a couple more times.
Sounds good.
And we'll hang out. So,
thank you.
Yeah.